Hi everyone. So I'm Hannah, for those of you that may not know. I am one of the kids ministry leaders at CV. And really, we just wanted to touch base with you all before things all kick back with meeting in person in September. There's been a bit of a change for us as a team. Katie, who was one of the other leaders, is currently on maternity leave after having another baby. So she won't be around until sort of April, May next year. And in the interim, we have Christina Hatfield stepping into her place and is going to work with me, in that interim period with all kids ministry involved things. So Christina, hello.
Hello.
So it's funny because when we knew we needed somebody else, Christina was actually one of the names that came to my mind. And then I had a message from Jim saying that Christina was interested. So that was quite nice and felt quite right for me. So I guess, Christina, what is it that made you, that made your ears prick and made you be interested in this?
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. I've got like boy races at the back of my house. Really, it was just God had really been talking to me about the children of CV, and I don't know if anyone's ever had this, but for me, during this season, it hasn't been so much recently, but kind of a few months ago, God was really speaking to me through my dreams, and I just had some really vivid dreams about kids ministry at CV, and felt I needed to share them with Jim, and I think that they really were rooted out of the fact that I've got 3 children at CV of my own, and my mother's heart for them to be connected with God, and really maybe kind of mourning the loss of kids ministry for them in this season of COVID, where obviously we haven't had a face-to-face meeting or anything. So anyway, I called Jim to speak to him and share some of my thoughts and my visions, and he said, did you know that we're going to be recruiting for another kids ministry coordinator? And I don't even think he said, are you interested? Because I think he assumed I wouldn't be. But I was like, oh, that's really, touching my heart. Actually, can I go away and pray about that? And then I asked for the information, and it all just seemed to fall into place and seem really right. And even though I am a busy mother of 3 with another job that I really love, it just really felt like God was saying, step into this for this season. And I'm particularly excited about the sort of the relaunch, because obviously we haven't had any specific kids ministry work for since last March. So I'm really excited about the relaunch in September.
So you said you had some dreams. Is there anything that stuck out most about any of those dreams? Is there anything you would be prepared or happy to share? Is that putting you too much on the spot?
No, not at all. It's just putting my memory on the spot.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I did write them down. I really did try and start writing down my dreams, because they'd feel so poignant, and then slowly but surely sort of start to forget. I do anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
But I think one of them was about, because Daniel and I are communities leader. We lead Gordon, and we have a lot of children in our community. I think it was about, one of them was really about the link between communities and our sort of formal kids ministry, and how we can really start to equip our communities, because I think we are all on the same boat, in that Sunday mornings can't be the main thing anymore, and actually that's often where a lot of our resources get poured and pooled, and actually it was kind of about how to equip communities so that children feel that that's not just mum and dad's small group or whatever term you want to use, but that's my community with my friends. So one of them was about that, and I think the other one was just as basic as like think about what resources our families have because although we have children's ministry at Canterbury Vineyard, we believe firmly that parents are the children's primary disciplers, and so just how are we equipping parents in that role? They were the two main things, I think.
So you said you're a mother of 3. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about yourself, for those people that don't know anything about you?
So I'm a mother of 3. I've got Psalms, who is 7, Shiloh, he is 5, and Eden is 2. And I'm married to Daniel, and we have been at Canterbury Vineyard for a very long time, since the church planted in a small pub. Can't remember the name, sorry, Jim. But we've been around for a long time. We're really, really passionate about CV. It's part of our DNA. It's in our bones. The DNA of Canterbury Vineyard is so aligned with our hearts. But we have been sort of back and forth because Daniel is trained as a Baptist minister. So we popped to Cambridge for a few years, and we popped to Essex for a few years. But ultimately, God has always called us back to Canterbury, and now we know very much that this is where we are called. This is the place we are called. This is the church we're called to, and this is where we're to put our roots down and where we're to raise our children. And so we've recently, during lockdown, amazingly been able to buy our own house, which for us is very much a sort of rooting process. So that was a big deal for us. Something we've been working towards for a while, and a real blessing in quite a what's been a barren time really of COVID. So, and that's an amazing story I'd love to share with anyone who wants to hear. But yes, so and I think that's
what moving forward for kids ministry, let's look at the past. What was one of the things that you loved most about kids ministry before COVID?
Gosh, cast our minds back. I just loved how loved my kids were, and they knew it and they felt it, and they both had really good relationship with you, Hannah, and with Kate. And I think I probably got it most from Psalms because she's the oldest, so she can express herself the most, but she felt really connected to our church, just felt like a valued member, not just like pushed to the side, but like you're really valued. And they loved going to kids ministry, and they would always have a lot to say. And Shiloh the same equally, although he does express himself differently, but I would know that he'd had a really good time, and that actually they were learning stuff about Jesus, that it's just a dedicated space to say, and I guess that's why we do go to Sunday morning, is it's actually like it's sacrificing a bit of our time to say, God, I want to get to know you more. And actually, if I don't carve out this time in my day, I might not. And I just felt like after Sunday morning, I could see that in our conversations that follow throughout the day and throughout the week, that they had been chewing over an aspect of God's character or whatever.
And I mean, one of the things that is very much on our heart is to make sure that it is inclusive for all the kids, and that the children are inclusive of the body of Christ, that they're not seen as a separate entity, but that they are joined, because as we've said, they've got such wonderful qualities, and they get the same Jesus as us adults. It's not a different Jesus. It's the same Jesus. So moving forward, what would you what would be the most important thing that you want to see moving forward with kids ministry?
I think the most important thing would be a good like transition. We've talked about this a bit, like not ignoring COVID and what's happened, but really just like taking some time to just, as much as they're willing to give, because kids don't necessarily always go deep, but just talking to them about what they've experienced and how that's impacted their journey with God, if they can sort of see it that way. So I think it's really important to give airspace and time really to reflecting on COVID, and then creating like a unity, like a coming together of the CV kids, because I think for me it's so important that my kids feel part of something, and I want everyone else's kids to feel like this is my tribe, this is my group, and actually no matter what's going on at school or COVID or whatever, I can come here and I can be loved and I can be accepted and I can meet Jesus.
I think for the kids to feel part of something, and I think the way our culture is, the way everything is, that our children have to sort of learn how to handle every day when they're at school. I think now more than ever, it's so important that they're connected in with people that have that same desire for Jesus, because I think it's they're sort of floundering fish if they're out on their own, whereas if they've got that they can plug into each week, and it just feeds them. And so what dreams do you have for kids? Have you got any future dreams that you would love to see?
I wouldn't say in terms of like the sort of structure of a Sunday morning necessarily looking at different, but I think my dreams for my kids and the kids of CV is to see them released into their giftings. Like I want to see the kids that are in kids ministry now being released into praying and into prayer ministry. I want to see them being released, I'm talking now, but also at whatever appropriate stage, but I'd love to see in 10 years time or 5 years time, whatever, them being part of the worship band, and them being, like I said, really key parts of their communities, and just being equipped and released into the body, and no matter what their age, as long as they've got the right support, So yes, definitely that. And like I say, kind of some of those dreams that God gave me about really seeing parents equipped into knowing how to be primary disciplers, and communities being equipped to involve their kids journeys.
I think one of the things I often think is we've got all those children in all those schools all over Canterbury, and they're just like little fireflies, and I just wonder, if, as you say, they start stepping into those giftings, what can happen in terms of the kingdom in our schools in Canterbury, and then they go home to their homes. So I think it's great. Great. Have you got anything else you would like to tell us?
No, but I would love to just put an invite out there to anyone who is watching this and agreeing with what Hannah and I are saying, and this sort of new season of kids ministry, this relaunch. If you want to be part of this amazing team, we would just get in contact with myself or Hannah or Jim or Katie or anyone, and we'd love to bring you into the fold and bring you into the party and get going again with discipling these kids. I say amen to that. Great. Okay,
great.
bye everyone. Bye.